Right now, me and my man, we're living off my taxes, or his taxes that we got, but that has run dry too. So right now we're trying to find work, trying to find a real decent job.
When you came out here, what kind of job did you have?
Well, I wasn't working. It was more of a gig every now and then in agriculture, trimming weeds. So it's just seasonal. It's seasonal. Trying to find work out here at the dispensary here, but it's not a big market as it was, 2 years ago. So big difference, and harder when you don't have a car anymore.
So today we're here in Orange County, California with Chrystal. Chrystal, are you originally from Orange County?
Actually, no, I am not. I am from Vegas, Nevada, Las Vegas, Nevada.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And how long have you been here in Orange County?
Yeah, I've been in Orange County for it's been almost 2 years now. A year and a half to 2 years.
And how did you end up over here?
I was coming in and out of town for work in agriculture, and then I met someone, and he lived here, and he's on the streets. So I came, and we, living from motel to motel kind of thing, and trying to get into a place. And it's cost of living in California is extremely high, more so than Nevada, because I had my own place there, and I had a car and everything, and then came out here trying to do the same. It hasn't quite hit just yet, but we are working on it. So I came out here for my boyfriend.
And what's your current living situation?
It's just me and my man and my cat. Brought her with me from Vegas. My dad has passed. My mom and brother and them, they're back in Vegas. So I'm a young adult, so try to take care of ourselves. And, the world is a hard place, post-COVID. So
Yes, it is.
yeah.
Do you have any kids?
No, not yet. I probably should, but not yet. I wouldn't want to bring children in the world unless I know I'm, financially stable and ready to, because it's just more of a struggle, and then to put, that on a child, it's hard.
Smart.
It's hard.
And how do you earn money out here? Do you booze, panhandle, do dates, have a job?
Oh, there is a lot of ways people make money on the streets. And I have to give it to them. That's, to each their own, and what they have to do. I can understand it, but for me, I'm a firm believer in, what you put out in the world is what you get back, and I don't want to be doing any of that kind of dirtbag kind of stuff. And a lot of people here sometimes glamorize it, I think, maybe. That's the streets, but I don't try not to do that. Right now, me and my man, we're living off my taxes, or his taxes that we got, but that has run dry too. So right now we're trying to find work, trying to find a real decent job.
When you came out here, what kind of job did you have?
Well, I wasn't working. It was more of a gig every now and then in agriculture, trimming weeds. So it's just seasonal. It's seasonal. Trying to find work out here at the dispensary here, but it's not a big market as it was, 2 years ago. So big difference. And harder when you don't have a car anymore.
What type of jobs have you worked in the past?
Oh shoot, I used to work in telemarketing. I used to be a trainer that taught any employee that came to the company for natural gas and electricity. I even worked for Google running numbers. So I have a very educated, workforce-driven work background. And honestly, I left my job at Google to go trim weed up in Humboldt County, a few years ago. And I was only supposed to, for a month, and I went and I stayed for 6 years because it was more of the not just like the lifestyle, but the less pressure, but good money. It made sense, and I continue to do that. But once you lose your car and you're not in the actual field, it can be harder. So that's variety skills.
Are drugs a part of your life?
Weed is. Obviously, as I said, it's what I work in. But no, I don't. I try not to mess with other stuff. Other stuff, it's really hurting a lot of people on the streets, and I hate to see that.
Yeah, almost every time we're down here, we see like an ambulance or a whole bunch of paramedics around people. It's like, it's so scary.
Yeah. Yes. And I hope they make it there in time. Shoot.
And I'm sure it's very dangerous out here.
Oh yeah, yes. I mean, I want to say anywhere can be dangerous, given, but I think it's a lot more of the people that are here, the people that are on the streets. I feel in this area, just because being on the streets, they're not necessarily bad people. They're not looking to harm others. I think a lot of people maybe are more of an opportunist than they are like a criminal or a villain. And when someone's in a real dire survival mode, like they're cold, they see a jacket, or someone's bag, they take it. I mean, I've had my things stolen countless of times. I don't even know how many phones I've had in the past 2 years compared to having a phone my whole life. It's crazy. But, they are materialistic things, I think. And in that moment, if someone needed something more than me, then by all means, But that still doesn't necessarily make it a safer place, because some people aren't in the right mental state or are on some type of substances and, aren't in the right kind of state of mind, and they do stupid things. And that's also a shame, but that's something, I think everyone, including themselves, have to be responsible for and grow, change if they want it. But people are also still partly a product of their environment.
Right. And what's the craziest thing that you've seen out here?
Oh, craziest thing I've seen out here. I've seen some crazy things. I don't think that if you weren't there, you couldn't really understand. And it's not even anything necessarily because of like drugs or people. I just think it's more of things are changing in the world, or the world's becoming more aware of other things that we don't understand or have any control or maybe say over, that we are a part of but don't maybe know it or how to understand it, in a sense of otherworldly paranormal kind of things, I guess, is the most kind of generic kind of vague word I can put it to explain it, because something spiritually, I don't even know if I can call it spiritually. It's just something that I can't necessarily explain, has happened, and I think it's just because there is something that's involved or a part of something that's more than of us as humans, to put it simply. Yeah.
Are you and your boyfriend currently trying to get out of your current situation?
Absolutely. Every day is a struggle. And it's a shame that you have to be so focused on just your bare essentials that it can affect a person in the sense that it can change you, where you're so focused and stressed or worried about something else that you can't just be your normal self. I like to think of myself as a happy, easygoing person, but being stressed of just getting rent to have a place to stand at, because I have a cat, And she's all I have left after my dad passed. So it's not something like she's my child. Like if I had a kid, I would want to make sure I have a roof over my head, you know. So it can be stressful, but that's why you got to take the right steps to get everything in line to have more of that consistency and stability.
Are there resources out?
There's so many unknown things. Like,
Yeah.
I'm okay, going right behind us now.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And that's a lot of them.
It's like 200 motorcycles driving by.
I mean,
That's crazy.
And that's just the streets for you. You never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah. Are there resources that can help you get into housing? That you...
There are things that I am personally looking into right now in regards for housing. I was recently told that there might be something that might be able to help me out for a couple of years, but I haven't looked into it just yet. But I know there are different welfare, social service assistance, and me and my boyfriend have gone down that route already. And like, there's like the general relief. Like that's already come and gone. $300 a month, once 3 times a month. I mean, excuse me, for 3 months, once every 3 months. Excuse me. It's still, barely like food and enough money to eat, let alone to be able to cost for us to stay. Like right now, we're paying $3,000 a month just for rent, and that's just because we have to pay on a daily basis, because we're not able to, have the kind of money put aside to have first, current months, last months, security deposit, all those extra things that are typically needed. And $3,000, as far as my understanding, is far more expensive than what the normal even apartment is, I think, in the area. So it's a little mind blowing, but you have to do what you have to do. Right.
And after being homeless for the last 2 years, what's the most important lesson that you've learned?
I would say the most important thing that I've learned being on the streets for the past couple years, or 2 years or so, is that I don't see it as a burden. I don't like to think myself as homeless, because I choose. I don't necessarily choose to be on the streets. It's just where I am right now, but I don't let it define me in any kind of negative way, where I'm gonna let it hold me back, And I'm sure carrying, my bag and such right now makes it obvious, like, oh wow, she probably got her whole life on her back, but this is very minuscule for how many luggages you end up coming across, because once you get something, you tend to want to hold on to it when you don't have a lot, but I think probably because of that, most important thing I've learned is that things are really easy to come by, and to not actually hold on to as many things as I think we do as people, because anything more or less can be replaced as materialistic things, as like people and memories, and those things are more important, and those are the things I really hold on to. So I'm very blessed that I've met a person that loves me and can understand me enough that I'm willing to go through the struggle, with him, so we get to a better place, because it's worth it.
Guys, we'll get there. Do you by chance have any social media information that we can put in the description in case anybody wants to reach out to you, or maybe a Cash App in case anybody
I do have a Cash App.
Okay.
Would you like me to spell it out? Because it's like numbers and letters.
Okay, yeah, we'll spell out. You can write it down for me, and we'll put it.
Yeah, Conjugation with numbers and such. So.
Okay, yeah, we'll get it from you. Okay. And then lastly, are you okay if we use the interview on our YouTube channel?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Please
Thank you, Chrystal.
Because I hate to have people think that homeless people are necessarily a problem. It's not necessarily a solution to anything, but it's because I heard something the other day on the radio or a podcast or something, or I think it was maybe a Snapchat or something, where a guy was like, "Oh, this is the solution to the New York's homeless problem is to put these spikes up on places where it's warm to sleep, so they don't come out and sleep there." I was hurt by that, because people are people, and people are going to populate the world. You can't necessarily deem like one spot's not, good, too good for a person to be in, versus another, and who are we to say where a person is at their stage in their life of, what they have to learn or experience to get to wherever they need to be at some point. So,
yeah.
yes.
You're so smart and intelligent.
Thank you. Educated background in telemarketing.
Stay safe out here, Chrystal.
Thank you. I will.
Glad you have your boyfriend and your cat.
Yes, absolutely.